So in my last video, which I recorded like 2 hours ago, or at least published 2 hours ago, I talked about how I wasn't happy with my binary library, because if you look at it right now, and I'll get it on GitHub, probably the best way to show it, despite the lag. This is the latest commit. Yeah. So if you look at my include here, you will see that my binary library has two classes: binary. Actually, I can collapse this, can't I? Binary and binary view, right? And the idea is that the binary is like a standard string, and a binary view is like a standard string view. So the binary is just a wrapper for a vector, a standard vector of bytes with writing functionality. So you can write to it in the same way that you can write to a string, right? And the binary view is a string view. So it's basically just a wrapper around a span. Although in the actual implementation, it's not a span; it uses pointers. But that's what span is under the hood anyway. So it is still the same concept. But like, you have to wonder. Oh, and also binary view has reading functionality. Binary could have reading functionality, but I didn't, and I haven't given it to it because I can't be arsed to like duplicate the code. But there's an issue here, right? Which is why, like, if a standard vector already exists and a standard span already exists, why do I need these? Really, the only benefit I'm getting out of these is the reading and writing. Because like, you can write to a vector, you can read a vector, you can read a span. But what these classes really do, like the real benefit of this library, is that you can write binary file data a lot easier. So if we look at some examples, which I hopefully have, I do. So if we look at some examples, right? This is just the error handling. Ignore that. This is reading. So we see here, we have our file data, right? And then what happens is you read. So file data dot read sv. SV is short for string view here. So like, already this lets you load a file in binary, a binary encoded file, and then there aren't really great ways. Like, there are ways to like to do this manually, but it's kind of annoying. So all this does is it just lets you store that, and then you can read. So if you read a string view of size 4, okay, I think that's outdated. It should say string, not string view. So if you read a string of size 4 and then store it, then you'll get a string of 4 chars. If you read a U32, a uint32, but with a big endian, then it will read that and make sure the endian is correct. Again, you could do that manually, but if you were to write it out each time, it'll get really annoying. Hence, doing this just makes it, like it's a library. It just wraps useful functions and stuff and functionality. And here, I think it's just more error handling stuff, whatever. So what I'm kind of noticing is that I don't really need the binary and binary view classes to be like string and string view. I just need the reading and writing functionality. So, because the issue I'm having right now with my xfbin library is that I'm passing around these binary and binary view objects, but then that also exposes the binary classes to the users of my other libraries, which means they need to learn that interface, and then also like, and then like it becomes like a really strong dependency where now, okay, this function returns a binary class from this other guy's library, so now I need to like fucking, I don't know, like convert it to something else if I'm to do that. And then therefore me as a library writer, as a library developer, which should probably be writing like conversion functions to standard library types. And it's like, why even bother at that point? Like, why write all these conversions to this and this and that when I can just use the types in the standard library, and then just have my binary be a binary writer and my binary view be a binary reader, right? So that's what I want to do. So instead of having yeah, I mean, to be fair, binary view is pretty okay. Yeah, it's more just the fact that binary view. Okay, well, there is another issue with binary view, which is that it can either store data that has no no explicit size or does have an explicit size, and the issue there is that it's possible to get just unbound data that could possibly lead to like memory errors, like access errors, and that could be quite difficult. So hold on. Can a standard span exist without a size? Yeah. So in spans you have a dynamic extend, but that's like static and that. What I really mean, but I mean like no explicit size at all. Just memory address with an unknown endpoint, and I think the answer is no. Exactly. So what's different from my binary view is that it does accept something without a size. So that's something else to consider, and has been quite problematic. And then the issue with Kojo binary is that it stores this data, but then like I need to convert it, and it's kind of just annoying. So. Now there are different ways I can go about this. Like for instance, I could have my library. So like right now, you do binary data, and you like data.write U32, 5 standard Endian big. For instance, although I've been debating just doing this instead. It's probably cleaner. And like data.write hello as a string, you know, like that, right? But then like how do I get data? Like if I want to get the data, what I do, like, okay, data.data, which returns a standard vector, you know? Or do I change this? So instead what happens is I have a vector called data, and then instead of data.write, I do binary write data, like this. Basically like providing functionality to vector that vector never had, you know? And then for a reader it'd be similar. You'd have binary view or binary, hold on. In fact, to this extent, I don't even need binary. If I do functions, I don't even need to like differentiate the read and write, because like the classes, because it can easily be in one class because they're just functions. So then I just pass data again. Let's say I want to read U32, right? Like that. So this is one option, and I think it's an option that like some Rust libraries do actually opt for. String it's like a length of 5 or whatever, or like let's just 7, just to differentiate, right? So this is one option. Another option is I don't know why I'm even caring about this right now. Another option is to keep the classes. So I have my, but instead what happens is instead of owning their data, they will be passed it only. So I have binary writer. It will take data, and then we'll have like writer dot write data. No, not that. Like this. And what that does is it creates a wrapper class around it, but the user still has that data themselves, and like they can just access it. Like this doesn't own the data; it just modifies it, and that's it. like so. And then for reader, for the reader, it actually it'd be quite similar to how it works currently, where you just pass it and then you just do just read and store the values. So like this is already how the view works anyway. It's just that the size needs to be a thing, but yeah. So binary view isn't bad, but the binary ob class is not good. I want that to be separated or changed. Right, okay. So, yeah. But also this wouldn't work because I actually need an index. So one option is to of course go like this. I've seen a Rust library where this returns the index it's currently at, so you can have like foo and then like a cursor and then just like pass in cursor as a recurring thing, which is honestly a really good pattern for Rust because Rust supports tuples, but this language doesn't support tuples. So I'd either have to track it manually, or have a tuple here or like a struct or something, which would just be really annoying, or use like a data out feature, like that or something, which isn't ideal either. So I'm thinking probably not going to do these, and instead go with this approach. But the issue with this approach, right, is that I need to create a class, like instantiate a class just to have like writes and read, and that can be quite annoying. And like what if I want to read and write, you know? I think at one point the classes were the same. The reader and writer classes were the same. But the issue was reader is const. It doesn't modify anything. Writer obviously does mutate stuff. So it makes sense to like store a binary reader as just a span, but like a writer would be a vector, and that can cause issues. Because like then like how do I store the data? In fact, reader just uses pointers, not even a span, just pointers. So like it's less overhead than storing like a vector reference or something. Not to mention, like this is assuming we want to take in a vector. What if you just want to take in a place in memory? So I don't know. So another option then would be to merge the classes. We just have a binary. Binary tool? I don't know, but like binary I don't even know what I'll call it actually. Like a writer writes, a reader reads. If it is read and write, what is it? File binary. Because like it doesn't store it. It just writes and reads it. It accesses it. But then there's like another issue because it doesn't own its contents. It's up to the user to make sure that data does not go out of scope. Mind you, for the writer it doesn't matter because the writer is only going to be writing. But like, what if data suddenly just goes out of scope and the writer is left alive? Then it's just pointing to nothing. Right? Like I want to be able to write without having to care about like has state. Like the only stateful thing here is the cursor, because like write will then increment the cursor to here, and read will then increment the cursor to the next thing, right? Otherwise, you have to do like reader.advance, like reader.advance, and like advance by how much? Well, advance by size of U32, size of, well, 7 in this case, because that's just the size I give it. And like that's no bueno. I don't like that. So, what to do instead then? Like, if I want to keep track of a cursor, like I could have this, where it's like the read, again, like it takes a cursor reference. And it's fine, but like it's just verbose, you know? And so like the first thought is that because I have this redundancy, well, okay, then just wrap it into a class. So I get binary data, let's call it, or like binary view, and then I do like view dot read instead, and then I can do auto foo equals view dot read u32. Data's already passed in, the cursor's already implicit, so I just do this. And then if I want to modify the cursor in any way, I'll have some functionality like view.change position, view.get position, you know, and so on and so forth. Or I could just do view.cursor plus, you know, cursor plus equals 2, you know. Like that makes sense, right? But then this is tied to data. So maybe I'm worrying for no reason, because like it's the same with like a string view or a span, right? If I have a string view, like let's say I have a string foo, right, and then I have standard string view bar equals foo, which I think is valid. Maybe it's whatever. Then let's say string goes out of scope, but I like return bar. Then this is undefined behavior. So like, that's already a thing that exists anyway. So to that extent, I guess I don't really have to really worry about that. I care about that, since C++ itself doesn't care about it. Also, the position would be automatic, so that's fine. So like this is a no-brainer, really. But it's just the writer that's the issue for me. Like when it's writing, it's like, where is it writing? Like if we have standard string, you know, like you can do stir equals, stir plus equals, stir at this particular index equals this, you know? So maybe to do the same for the binary writer. So like writer plus equals, I mean it's bytes though, so like it doesn't really translate as well. Yeah, no. So like plus equals to like writer.write, whatever, right? Like write 5 in big endian. This is a U32, I think, and I32 probably. Writer at 3 equals 0x40. It's a byte. Yeah? I mean, that's fine. But like a string owns its own contents, and you could pass it another string, and then it will just kind of like merge it. Like it's the same type. A string takes another string, you know, or like a char, like a const char or whatever. Let me actually look at my library here. My xfbin library. I don't use it there. I use it here for this. So what if I just changed it? So this was a standard vector instead. What would that change? Okay, how about this? Let me try something first. Why is it? Huh? Oh. Okay, so let's say for the reader, right? Notice how the reader takes a binary view. Now, the reader is hidden anyway, so that's not a problem. But this is a problem. Any public interface like chunk should not use this. It should use standard vector of standard byte. And its constructor should take a standard span of standard byte. Chunk binary, I already wrote to not use it, so that's fine. You can see here it has a span of standard byte right there. Then an optional data store. Type, wouldn't use it anyway. Page. has this. So again, this would be a standard span. And that's it. So then it's just making sure that for my reader, I'm not like doing, so like what's this doing? Binary from data, chunk size, data get position. That's a chunk data. Data is data is part of the class. It's a binary view. So all we're saying is just like, okay, get this. So we'll just do const auto, so const standard span, or standard byte. Yeah, fuck, it's run out. Const standard span or standard byte. Chunk data. Just construct it. We pass in data, and then we want a pointer, I think. So just data. And then you need the size. So get pos data. Not the greatest name, but it gives you the data pointer at the current position. I'll probably just change the interface there. And then we want the chunk size for how big we want it to be, and do that instead. Yeah. And then is that it? Hold on. No matching constructor for initialization of standard byte. Sorry, vector standard byte. So in chunk, yeah, I can't standard move it. I can't standard move a span into a vector. How do I move a span into a vector? C++. Okay. Right, yeah, that makes sense. So we just do a constructor. Is this a constructor? I just realized it is, isn't it? So can I just do like data dot begin, data dot end? I don't know. From range S. Is there a constructor that just takes it? Also, I really wish you could use brace initialization here. Wait, is that valid? Hold on. Standard vector, standard byte. This is terrible. Just ignore it for now. What's wrong here? $11. What? 1. Okay. What the fuck is this error? In page 23, this. Okay. I thought I fixed this. Standard span, standard byte. Okay. The fuck? Okay, I see. Reader 186. No matching initialization of const. So that's a pointer, that's a size. So these are constructors. I believe you can pass a pointer. So this should be valid. But it is arguing otherwise. No matching structure of initialization of const standard byte. Not satisfied with standard byte pointer. Is that because it's const? So if I made this const, would it be happy? That's why. See, binary view is const, but I don't want it to be const. Okay. Ah! Really itchy. I'll just cast away the const for now. I'm aware there's a const cast, but I'm just doing it like this for now. To juke the system. I'll implement it properly later, I promise. Into my library. Okay, that worked. Damn, that actually did work. So dot slash, yeah, that worked perfectly. So what the fuck? Okay, first of all, is it chunk? I assume that I don't actually need this. I'm not even convinced I need this. Can a vector not just take a span? Is that not a thing it can just do? Constructor span. Does vector not have a constructor for a span? Okay, so there's this from range. But like, should I even bother? This one from range. I don't know. Like a piled. So this is these are constructors. I never actually realized that for some reason. It's kind of goofy. So can I use braces here? Actually, this should be braces at least, but does that work? Because if so, I want to use that. No shot. What the hell? This whole time, I had no idea that that's how it works. Okay, hold on. For a constructor, construct thingies after the boom. Why do people conventionally not use brace-initializer syntax? I.e., like data over data. Like, if there's a reason, but bracing can shadow down conversion errors in surprising ways. But I like how it doesn't really end the sentence. It just fucking cuts off. Well, so it prevents narrowing. What? 10 elements or 0. 2 elements, 10 and 0. I see. I mean, that's just an issue with constructors, honestly, but... What the fuck? I had no... Like, I've never even seen code that does that. So, like, that's crazy. Well, I'm not going to change all of them. Fuck it. We did that. Like, are you serious? I had no idea. Whoops. Same with these. I don't know why I used string like a function. And what's this? Standard from range data. I'm in awe, honestly. This compiles? So I'll remove this and just include the thing. So we got vector, C standard int. I don't know what byte is in. I actually don't know. String view. What's for string and string view? Ranges. What is byte part of? C standard def. which includes size t and everything. Does c standard int include that? To say? I mean, I guess it's implementation defined. Does c standard int include c standard def? Okay. Yeah, but size t does end up in almost anything, so. Yeah, C standard def. Okay. I don't like how long the compilation times are. But that's a C++ issue, I guess. Modules will improve compilation times, won't they? That'd be fun. When they finally arrive. So remove remove binary from interface. Wait, pretty much. Okay. So now it's okay with binary. I think that's fine. I'm not even sure why I'm using a binary in the first place anyway. Like if I go to xfbin reader, it stores its data as binary view, but somewhere else, I think it's xfbin. Here it takes binary from path, and then it passes that into xfbin reader, because the binary view has a constructor for binary. I guess the main thing is it just covers all errors. Like I could just load the path normally. Well, no, because there's no way to load binary view. But like I could load it into my vector manually, but that would be just really annoying, wouldn't it? So that's fine. Okay, so actually, you know what? Despite all my ranting about this, I think it's actually fine the way it is. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. Binary still doesn't have read functionality, but that's because I'm being lazy. Binary view still has size issues, but that hasn't actually really come up yet as an issue, to be fair. Alright. Never mind then. I guess it's not a problem, as big of a problem as I thought. So let me just go ahead and clean this up then. These headers. They're constructors, to be precise. Devilish. Oh boy, this one will be fun. It's forward. Forward's a function, right? It's a function. See, this is why I don't like using function like fucking constructors as functions. Like, I could even tell if this is a function or not off the bat, just because this could be a constructor. And like, you could argue, well, you know, that's the point. You can use a constructor as a function, but like, I don't want to. I want to avoid constructing things implicitly. Move is a function. Yeah. Okay. Last one, I think. Compile. Wait. Look, see, look, it caught. Doing this, literally, like, it actually paid off. It caught an implicit narrowing. That's awesome. So, exif bin, HTTP 5. What? Out HTTP, sorry. On line 43. Included from line 5. Where are we? Sorry, 143. Jesus Christ. Why is it being narrowed here? This is a size T, max index is this. Yeah. So that should be size T. Like, I literally just did not know that. I didn't even know if I could notice that. That's crazy. And now I only noticed it because brace initialization syntax takes care of it. It tells you about it, sorry. It doesn't take care of it, but it informs you about it. Oh, what a goofy language. What a goofy language. Holy compile time, bruv. And before you ask, GCC is not faster. Might be slower. Okay. Awesome. So git add all, commit, replace constructor initializers with brace initialization syntax. And now let me rant about this on Discord. Structs. What the fuck? Why is it so laggy? Discord, chill out. Fucking Electron, man. Like, honestly, like, I'm probably better off just using the fucking web app at this point. To not have to, like, open Electron. Discord, where is the native Linux app? You promised it to us. Actually, they did promise it to us. Let's say I use standard string view. Actually, no, fuck that. I'll use string. Why does that break the syntax highlighter? Okay, I clicked, but I guess I didn't. Sick. What's move in? Memory? I assume so. Let's try something else. A good vector. I think this is valid, right? vector of, let's say, int. Like, what the fuck? Honestly, this is why I should read more code from other people. But anyway. So yeah, fuck it. I was gonna refactor my binary library, but I don't really see a point anymore. So I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna end the video there. Ending the video before the hour mark. What the hell? So I will continue this later, and I'll just move on to what? Writing? No, I want to do textures and stuff, like texture format and all that stuff. So yeah, progress is looking good. I might just like if I make any modifications to my binary library now, it would just be to like helper just like helper functions and like API stuff, interface stuff. But like the actual setup I think is not too bad. So yeah, subscribe to see that.